juice. The caption for this picture is still undefeated. Boxing glove. Few. In and out of the ring. Nail polish. In less than 6 hours, the one post received 1.2 million views. The comments were consuming it. There was no struggle at all when Remy got rocked. That is an excellent response. For a period, go cry in the studio, Remy. However, not everyone supported Claressa. A swarm of devoted Remy Ma fans fiercely defended her. Y'all forgot who held Papoose down when the world forgot about him, reads one comment that has since been pinned on many reposts. Claressa is merely cleaning up an empire that she did not create. This isn't a boxing match, said another. This championship is home destroying. The cryptic line was TW loyalty is free until it is put to the test. Indeed, supporters are increasingly requesting that he take a side. He hasn't yet. We must also consider the broader ramifications. This was no longer merely a personal drama. From LA to London, it was the most popular headline on every blog, gossip page, and YouTube channel. The following day, TMZ even attempted to get Claressa to remark outside a training facility. "Tell Remy to train harder before stepping in my ring," she replied after laughing. Chilly face, icy face. The man at the heart of it all, Papoose, comes next. Once regarded as the embodiment of loyalty, they are currently being dragged around at flea markets like a purse. At last, he disturbed the quiet with aided by Fat Joe, who also subtly weighed in. Drab, damage-controlled thread, statement. Both of these powerful black women have my respect. I request privacy while we discuss private issues. Privacy, sir. On camera, you were seen holding Claressa's waist as though you were slow dancing at a wedding, and now you want privacy. Twitter didn't like it. Not Papoose, the protagonist of As the Bronx Turns Season 35, requesting solitude. We want him to never stop talking after he was silent for 10 years. If boxing gloves and BBL energy are holding you hostage, sir, blink twice. Let's face it. As soon as someone chose to give the bloggers access to the venue guest list, the entire situation went haywire. You are aware way these things proceed. One screenshot sent to the appropriate blogger by a dishonest assistant, envious stylist, or inebriated DJ might cause a public uproar. And you know what? We recently learned that the venue owner is getting legal counsel, although this has not been verified. Why? Because a handcrafted $18,000 booth that was imported from Milan was reportedly broken by Remy Ma's drink toss. Not to mention that one of the bottles of champagne she allegedly broke wasn't in the bar. A private collector lent it to us. Yes, we are now discussing lawsuits. But hold on, it grows darker. Security logs show that someone attempted to follow Claressa that evening to her Vestaff. But upon being questioned, the person stated that they were collaborating with Remy's public relations team. What? While we do not claim that this was a setup, we do assert that it seems uncomfortably similar to the beginning of a scandal involving much more than just spilled beverages and widely shared statements. Consider it, Claressa's unexpected association with Papoose, Remy's sudden emotional breakdown. She didn't even realize this was going to happen. The secret of a baby. Exposure threats captured on video. No, this goes beyond mere drama. This is the start of a complete unraveling, not to mention the enigmatic Bronx truth-teller, TikTok user, who has been posting purported voice notes and old Remy Ma and Papoose voicemails. In one tape, Papoose seems to be admitting that he felt ethical. An incident intercepted them, abandoned, and used for visual purposes. Another Remy mentioned that she just had one round remaining and wasn't going to throw it out. Who is disclosing this and why? Everyone. Who gains from this breakdown? By whom are the strings being pulled? Because it seems like someone intentionally caused this humiliation in public. Similar to Rhee's image, her legacy was purposefully destroyed. Insiders claim that Rhee's next move isn't a diss track, so we're just getting started. It is something far, far worse. Furthermore, the subsequent action wasn't a diss track. It was not a tour of the press. Not even an apology was offered. A lawsuit was filed. Yes, 2 days after the party. Remy Ma's legal team filed court documents in which they barriers against purposeful emotional suffering, character assassination, and legacy destruction. That is sabotage of legacy. Just the term caused debate among Twitter experts over its meaning. However, the message was unambiguous. Remy has no intention of removing the lying. She was retaliating, this time with paperwork. However, it wasn't even the most bizarre aspect. A timeline of alleged manipulation going back to 2023 is part of the claim. Remy's legal team claims that Claressa had been planning her closeness to Papoose for a long time before the public learned about it. They asserted that she used the pretense of inspirational mentoring to get into Rhee's inner circle, even providing to contribute to the creation of a documentary on Black women juggling family and celebrity. Advertisements about surreptitiously deeming the husband while juggling celebrity and family. It's really impossible to make this stuff up. Oh, hold on. We simply did. However, if this were a Netflix drama, we would already be halfway through 6 episodes and anticipating a plot twist. Speaking of unexpected turns, can you guess who started working with the media out of the blue? Papoose. I waited for her for 7 years. Mr. Loyalty, Mr. Black Love. He conducted a brief in-person interview with a little independent podcast that was subsequently listened in a matter of hours on all major blogs. And he said something in it that made everyone who was watching shudder. There are moments when we adore someone for who they were rather than who they are today. I put my everything into that marriage. However, I was forced to leave when it became a bar-free prison. A bar-free prison. People were going crazy. But hold on, it gets more complicated. Then, so, are you confirming the relationship with Claressa? The podcast presenter asks him bluntly. After pausing, Papoose continues. Let's just say, I found peace, and peace isn't a crime. He smiles. Boom. Verified. This was no longer conjecture. Despite all the rumors, the grainy pictures, and the accidental vacation overlaps, this was an open admission of treachery. According to reports, Remy Ma observed to cast Claressa off that interview at her manager's office by itself. She didn't even cry. According to sources, after standing there in silence, she muttered, "He really did it." At that point, the subsequent video was released. Not of Papoose or Remy, but of Fat Joe during a live broadcast. Take it very seriously. Speak quietly. Some folks, you simply don't betray. My brother and I used to say, be careful when you let fame play therapist. Is it crypto? Of course. Was that a reprimand or a warning? Though, immediately, fans conjectured that Joe was supporting Remy. Not only on an emotional level though, as Remy was seen at Terror Squad Studios, where she began her post-prison return. She earlier said, "This mic saved my life," in the same location, and now she had returned. She may be working on a song called Snatched Crown, according to leaked audio from that session. She apparently raps in it. You got in by boxing in. Box your way out now. I created a dynasty. You're trying to gain influence. The internet took off. As fans debated who should speak, however, a whole new shock was revealed. There was a leaked deposition. Yes, a deposition is included in Rhee's court document. Furthermore, she asserts that during her 2022 tour, Papoose Ghost penned a number of answers that Claressa utilized in interviews, reactions and to reposition her as a multi-platform figure. Not only was she a fighter, but she was also a thoughtful woman. Why is this important? Because if it's true, Papoose wasn't merely having romantic affairs. Behind Remy's back, he was using her playbook, style, and tactics to create a new empire. It is said that Claressa even employed Remy's hair team and stylist. In a hilarious turn of events, Rhee's exact words from a 2018 appearance on The Breakfast Club were used. Fans weren't just calling Claressa a homewrecker at this point. She was being referred to as a career thief. However, Claressa remains unconcerned. It isn't stealing if it's already yours. Read the pink hoodie. What have you got to say to Remy now? A fan asked. Remain in the booth. Girl, she added with a sly smile. You only mention that for me there. Oh, phew. That sentences, brutality, disdain, and boldness. The comments were inundated with people. Given the shade she is throwing, she will require headgear. Remy, you haven't even rung the bell, and this is a TKO. Judge Judy should be consulted about this issue. However, in reality, this story unveils something more profound beneath all the memes and chaos. A woman wasn't the only one who was shocked. A foundation was shattered, a legacy was appended, and a queen was deposed. And to make matters worse, it was being shown live on television. Each and every hue are seeing the steady collapse of one of hip-hop's most famous love tales turned into material for the general public with every comment, every clip, and every leaked direct message. What happens if the crowd turns against Clara, even though she may be unbeaten in the ring? Because rumors are circulating that a number of brand deals are being retracted. One gym appeared live on Instagram, sporting a bright, has already removed a video that they collaborated on. Production of a documentary was halted, and rumors are spreading that Rhys fans would boycott her next bout. Conversely, Remy is also not unaffected. After being restored following